I don't talk about current events in my shows because my show is the opposite of current events. It's a show about players of the past. But with baseball season over, and I know there's a lot of sad fans out there, so I figure now is a good time for a Yankee World Series championship show. Or as close as you can get. So let's go. William Benedito Renna, nickname Big Bill. Why Big Bill? Standing 6'3", weighing 220 plus pounds, and he was strong. That's why. This MLB outfielder was born in 1924 in Hanford, California, but has roots in Pennsylvania. That's where his dad is from, who's Italian. Bill Renna lived a long, full life before passing away in 2014 in the San Jose area where he lived, went to school, raised his family, and was in the concrete business since 1963. But just because his name is Big Bill, worked for a cement company, and has Italian ancestry, don't jump to the conclusion he filled boots with concrete and took guys for long walks on a short pier. No, he filled orders. Started out in sales, but with a college degree in hand, went from manager to vice president to company GM before retiring to live the good life, traveling with family and friends, spending time at the family cabin in the Sierras, camping, and beating all those who challenged him at horseshoes. Of course, Big Bill Renna was a three-sport star in high school, and in 1943 would play football and baseball while attending the University of San Francisco, but would quit school so he could join the Marine Corps. Yep, another young man volunteering on his own, and would spend 3 years of his life fighting in the South Pacific during the Second World War. And when Bill returned stateside, he spent a year at a private business college near Stanford University called Menlo, before transferring 20 miles down the street to Santa Clara U on a football scholarship, graduating with a business degree. For 3 years, Big Bill was big man on campus, playing football and baseball at the college level, and they say he was outstanding. His first year at Santa Clara University, baseball coach Patty Cottrell, who was a bird dog for the Yankees, didn't let him play on the Bronco baseball team because Bill was on a football scholarship. But he was on the diamond the following season, and in his final school year, 1949, led the California Collegiate Association in total hits, total bases with no errors in the field. An All-American football player for Santa Clara, he represented the Broncos when he quarterbacked the West squad in the 1949 East-West Shrine All-Star Game, and Bill Renna is one of the first Santa Clara University graduates to play Major League Baseball, and they've been playing baseball at the school since 1883. That's a long time. The university was founded in 1851 and is the oldest college in California. Lived here my whole life, and I didn't know that. Back in the old days, they used horse, but I used to ride my bike across campus. It's a shortcut between towns, and if you go either way on a famous street called El Camino Real, you will run into quite a few colleges, big and small, that are on or very near this historic road that cuts through many cities and towns for hundreds of miles, from San Francisco to San Diego. Why am I talking about Bay Area colleges and giving you street directions? Because I grew up next to many of these colleges, and almost every trading card in my collection I got from stores located on the street we just call El Camino. Or as close as you can get. After college, Bill Renna was wanted by both pro football teams that were in Los Angeles at the time, the Dons and the Rams, and it was the Rams who would draft him. But football was not in the cards for Bill, his choice, even though chances are he would have been on some football cards, because he's on a whole bunch of baseball cards. He has 3 different cards from 1955 alone, and I saw a real cool-looking doubleheader card that was dual signed by Dick Rote on one side and Bill Renna on the other. So Big Bill made the decision to throw baseballs instead of footballs and became a pro baseball player when signed by Yankee scout Joe Devine for $5,000. Not your usual signing of a teenager who will gladly drop out of high school for a few $100 and play pro ball in order to help out his family. Nope, you're signing a full-grown, battle-hardened man with a university degree in hand who has a few career options. He chose to play baseball. His first 4 seasons were in the Yankee farm system, though Bill Renna's contract was not directly with the Yankees but with the Beaumont Roughnecks, a club he never played a single game with. Bill explains this himself, quote, "The Yankees own the Beaumont team in the Texas League and would sign players but not necessarily to a Yankee contract. because then they would only have 3-year options on the player. If they signed a player to a minor league club, they'd still have the options on the player in the future. Unquote. 2 days after signing, he was in Idaho playing Class C ball with the Twin Falls Cowboys, who placed first in the Pioneer League, with Bill leading the league with 21 home runs in only 76 games. March of 1950, Yankees brought Bill and Whitey Ford up to AAA, joining the Kansas City Blues. Bill pulled a thigh muscle first week with the team, struggled badly, and was sent down. Still in Class B for 1951 with the Quincy Gems, Bill Renna led the 3I League with 26 homers and was selected to the All-Star team, earning a promotion for 1952 back with the Kansas City Blues, who won the playoffs with Big Bill smacking out 28 homers, and was selected to that league's All-Star team. Moose Skowron's 31 homers led the league, but easily it could have been Bill Renna if he didn't break his middle finger, forcing him to miss the final month of ball. It was earlier in that season the Kansas City Blues hit 10 home runs against the St. Paul Saints, setting a league record for most home runs in one game by one team. Big Bill hit 2 of those, with the Blues hitting 6 homers in 1 inning. That's also a league record. After the season, Bill was invited to what the Yankees called a preseason school, run by Casey Stengel and coach Frank Crosetti, held in Glendale, California, where Casey Stengel lived. Both men liked what they saw in Bill and invited him to Yankees' 1953 spring training camp, where he had a great showing, beating out Bob Cerv for the 5th outfielder and playing the whole season with the Yankees, making his MLB debut opening day April 14th, 1953 as a pinch hitter. And soon after got his first big league start at Comiskey Park in a game that he had just missed hitting for the cycle. Close as you can get. But did get his first major league home run when he nailed a high screaming wallop, as they say, into the upper stands off White Sox pitcher Gene Bearden. Season over, Bill was part of an 11-player trade that had him and Vic Power going to the Philadelphia Athletics for Eddie Robinson and some others. It was with the A's in 1954 that Bill had his best season in the majors with 13 round trippers, and he led the AL right fielders with 5 double plays. So Bill played for 3 teams in 4 cities. How's that? Because he was with the A's when they moved from Philadelphia to Kansas City after the 1954 season. Jump to June of 1956 and the Athletics trade Bill Renna back to the Yankees, and once again Eddie Robinson was part of the deal, with Bill spending the rest of the 56 season with the Richmond Virginians in the International League, knocking out 20 homers. It was during the 1957 spring training camp that a rare trade between the Yankees and the Red Sox occurred, with New York trading Bill to Boston for Eli Gerba and Gordy Windhorn. The Red Sox sent Bill to their top affiliate for 1957, the San Francisco Seals, who would finish the season as the PCL champs. Everyone knew this was Seals' final year in the Pacific Coast League due to the arrival of the New York Giants now making their home in San Francisco, so it was nice as an original member of the Pacific Coast League that the franchise my dad watched for years could go out on top. The last time the Seals were PCL champs was in the mid-1940s, putting together a run of 4 straight. The Red Sox called Bill up for 1958, and he was just one of Ted Williams' many backups, which means, like the other backup outfielders, you don't play much, and Bill didn't. 39 games ain't much. Dad got Bill Renna's autograph in Scottsdale, Arizona at the Red Sox 1959 spring training camp, and a few weeks later, Bill Renna would play his last game in the majors. And rather than going down to the minors, the 34-year-old was done with baseball and moved on to the next phase in his life. Big Bill Renna played the majors off and on for 6 seasons between 1953 and 1959, hitting 28 big league homers, and in his 741 minor league games hit 139 home runs, and would hit 20-plus homers in 5 different seasons. As close as you can get. Some kids dream of being on a big league team, others dream of playing in a World Series, while some dream of hitting a Game 7 walk-off home run in a World Series. Of the 3, Big Bill Renna got to do one of those things. He got to play on a big league team, and he was close as you can get to playing in a World Series. The third dream, well, that would forever remain a dream for future nights. Bill Renna was on that 1953 Yankees World Series championship team, playing in 61 games that season as a rookie, capping it off by getting to experience 6 World Series games as his New York Yankees beat the Brooklyn Dodgers. That had to be exciting for the 28-year-old rookie. Not as exciting as when he was in a battle during the war, but a different kind of adrenaline rush. An enjoyable one, playing a game you love, knowing you're not going to get shot or impaled by a Japanese bayonet. Too bad for Bill Renna, because when the 1953 World Series started, that's all it would be for him. An exciting adrenaline rush, with a few minutes of anticipation followed by disappointment in a situation he had no control over. As the saying goes, that's the way the ball bounces. Bill did make 6 World Series appearances, but they were the kind of appearances where you warm up with the boys, then walk over to the dugout to watch the game, and when it's over, you walk back to the clubhouse to shower. Maybe I should say he never got in any of those games as an actual participant, but Big Bill Renna was as close as you can get to being in a World Series game without actually getting into the game. Twice. How was that? Well, he was swinging his bat in the on-deck circle waiting to pinch it, and both times it didn't happen. 50 years later, Bill Renna would say, "It was a little frustrating to get that close and not even get an at-bat." Some people can let things lie and say the past is the past, what's done is done, it was out of my control. For others, they can't let it lie, and in their head they keep bringing it up. Not in a bad way, it's just one of those memories, a reminder that for the rest of your life, every day after you wake up, at some point during the day you'll remember those 2 times when you were a New York Yankee on deck in a World Series, but not getting to step up to the plate. Who were the pitchers that Bill was going to face? I don't know, but he does. Every day for the rest of your life, you'll think about and wonder how you would have fared against those World Series pitchers. Close as you can get. I'm thinking there's a few minor leaguers who never made it to the majors but would give up their whole minor league career just to be in Bill Renna's situation for even just one of those games that October in 1953. Your team is in the World Series. You're at Yankee Stadium, and you're the one wearing the world-famous Yankee pinstripes as you walk out to the on-deck circle. But as you stand there swinging your bat, anticipating that moment when you walk to the plate for your first World Series at-bat, you never get to make that walk. So it remains a dream, a blurry dream of being so close. How close? Bill Renna was as close as you can get. Twice.